in weakness. And what a blessing how God has blessed our family, how God has blessed my ministry over 30 years now. God is faithful. Now, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. My mother spent much of her days giving me exercises, over which I objected, by the way. So I spent much of my days, much of my early years, arguing with my mother and father over exercises. I hated exercises. Do you like exercises? I haven't met too many people that enjoy exercise. But it's good for you, right? So, it's not easy honoring God in homes today. It's not easy. My brother, my youngest brother, Jim, he married a woman that he had dated for a long time, and after 16 years of marriage, she left him for another woman. And I have watched my brother Jim's testimony over the last 8 years as he has endeavored to honor Jesus Christ in his relationship with his ex-wife and with his children. And believe me, it hasn't been easy. It's been so tempting for my brother Jim to be consumed with bitterness and anger over what has occurred in his family. And yet, by the grace of God, my brother has been given the ability to not give up. To not give up. To believe that God can bring good even out of this tragic situation. And you know he has. My brother is able to talk with his ex-wife in a civil manner. They're able to do what they need to do, having had children together on behalf of the children. He has been reconciled to his children as their father, which was his prayer. And it's a beautiful thing to behold how God is bringing good out of a tragic situation. What struggles do you face in your home this morning? We all have them, you know. We all have them. I think of the show Home Improvement. You remember the show Home Improvement? That's right. And Tim's wife would say, now, Tim, he liked to fix things around the house. You know, he was a Mr. Fix-It kind of a guy. And he said, honey, I love you so much, I'm going to fix the kitchen. I'm going to fix that stove in the kitchen. And his wife would say, Tim, I know you love me, but stay out of the kitchen. Stay out of the kitchen. But despite himself, Tim just had to go into the kitchen. So he would go into the kitchen and he would try to fix the stove and about burn the house down. So his wife would come home and there would be a fire in the kitchen and she would say, Tim, what did you do? And he said, well, I fixed the stove. And she said, well, it doesn't look like it's fixed. You know, I came home and there was fire and there was smoke. See? So, even with the best intentions, there can be tension in the home. But God gives us grace to not give up and to persevere in our marriages and in our homes. And when there is divorce, when there is separation in the home, He gives us the power not to be consumed by anger and by resentment, but by the grace of God to forgive. Thanks be to God. And so may God help us in our homes this morning to honor Him and to not give up despite whatever problems we face in our homes this morning. The next H is hood. See? I'm talking about the hood now, the neighborhood. You remember the video in Louisiana where this large church, they were growing as a large church in Louisiana. Everything they thought was fine. And yet he said something interesting. He said, I wonder, before the storm, if our church had disappeared, if anybody would have cared that we were gone. But then Hurricane Katrina comes, and all of a sudden the church is propelled out into the community to find ways to help the community and to make a difference in the community, to partner with the police department, with the fire department, with the city offices and so forth, to bring the kingdom of God, as he said, into that tragic situation. The people of New Orleans were tempted to give up, weren't they? They still are tempted to give up. There's so much work that needs to be done down there, and yet God has given them the grace and the power to not give up, to believe that that city of New Orleans will be rebuilt. And the churches are partnering to do exactly that. Well, I've been attending meetings here in Willits that talk about a different kind of hurricane that has hit Willits. Okay, not a literal hurricane, not a Hurricane Katrina, not like a Hurricane Katrina, but a different type of hurricane. A hurricane in which many of the social services that are provided for the needy in this community are disappearing because the federal grant money is no longer there. We talk about the growing unemployment in Willits and in Mendocino County. We talk about how difficult it is for agencies to partner with one another because they're so competitive now, because for the little money that is there, they're competing with one another instead of cooperating with one another. And I've been invited to come in there and be a voice that says, let's not give up. Look, can we believe that God in his grace and in his mercy will rebuild the city of Willits, that the kingdom of God will come in new and powerful ways to the city of Willits? This Thursday, I met with the director of Daily Bread here in Willits. Daily Bread is the ministry that provides meals for the homeless on Monday through Thursday here in Willits. And I met with Cindy, is her name, and I said, Cindy, how can we help Daily Bread? How can St. John's Lutheran Church help Daily Bread? And she specified some ways that we can help Daily Bread. I've talked with people at the American Legion, and I've said, how can we partner with the American Legion to share the love and compassion of Jesus in this city? Saturday, Nancy was at the kids club, Saturday morning at the kids club. And it's so good that we have a relationship with the kids club here in Willits. And the question is, how can we partner with the kids club to share the love of Jesus with the children in our community? How can we partner with the schools in the city of Willits to share the love and compassion of Jesus Christ with this community? There's all kinds of opportunities that God is opening up. How can we partner with Agape Church to bring the love and compassion of Jesus Christ with this community? How can we partner with the other churches in this city to bring the kingdom of God, to bring the compassion of Jesus to this community? It's an exciting